Let me ask you a question. Have you ever wondered why the more you give, the less people appreciate you? The more patient you are, the more they take advantage of you. You see, life teaches us a very interesting lesson. When you don't know the value of something, you misuse it. Many people believe that kindness means weakness, that being nice means being passive. But let me correct that today. Kindness is not weakness. Love is not foolishness. Mercy is not stupidity. The problem is not your kindness. The problem is the lack of boundaries. My friends, one of the greatest misunderstandings in life is the idea that kindness alone is enough to earn respect. Many people believe that if they are nice, patient, and always available, others will honor them in return. But let me tell you the truth. Kindness without boundaries leads to disrespect. Have you ever noticed how the more you help certain people, the less they appreciate you? The more you sacrifice, the less they acknowledge your efforts. You go out of your way to be there for them, and instead of gratitude, they develop entitlement. Why does this happen? Because people do not value what they do not have to earn. Human nature is such that we take for granted what is always available. A river that never dries up is never celebrated. A road that is always open is never thanked. The moment people realize that you will always say yes, that you will always forgive without accountability, that you will always be there no matter how they treat you, they start seeing you as ordinary, as something they don't have to respect. Even God, in all his love and kindness, sets boundaries. He gives grace, but he also demands responsibility. He forgives, but he also expects repentance. He opens doors, but he requires obedience. God's love is unconditional, but his rewards are not. If God, the creator of heaven and earth, does not allow himself to be taken for granted, why should you? Let me give you an example. If you give a child a toy every single day without making them work for it, one day they will stop appreciating it. The first time they will say, thank you. The second time, wow. But by the 10th time, they will take the toy and walk away without a word. Why? Because it has become an expectation, not a privilege. The same happens in relationships. If you constantly give your time, energy, and resources to people who never reciprocate, they will start seeing you as someone they can use, not someone they need to honor. This is why you must understand that kindness is powerful only when it is given with wisdom. Many people confuse being kind with being a doormat. They believe that being patient means tolerating abuse, that being loving means never saying no. But love without discipline is not love. It is self-destruction. If you allow people to mistreat you and you keep rewarding them with your kindness, you are not helping them. You are teaching them that bad behavior has no consequences. I am not telling you to stop being kind. I am telling you to stop giving kindness where it is not respected. Stop pouring into people who only drain you. Stop investing in relationships where you are the only one making an effort. Stop allowing people to use your good heart against you. If someone only calls you when they need something, but they are never there when you need them, that is not a relationship. That is an exploitation. If you constantly give to someone who never appreciates it, that is not generosity, that is wastefulness. If you keep forgiving someone who never changes, you are not being merciful, you are enabling their bad behavior. My friends, kindness is a gift, but it is only valuable when given in the right places. Do not be afraid to set boundaries. Do not be afraid to say no when necessary, because true respect is not demanded, it is commanded by the way you carry yourself. So be kind, but never at the expense of your dignity. Have you ever noticed that the things people work hard for are the things they value the most? Yet the things they receive too easily, they often take for granted. This is a principle of life. People do not value what they can easily access. Think about it. The air we breathe is free. Yet many people don't appreciate it until they struggle to catch their breath. Water flows from the tap every day, and no one stops to be thankful for it until there is a drought. But if something is rare, if it is difficult to obtain, suddenly it becomes precious. That is why gold is more valuable than sand. It is not because sand has no use, but because sand is everywhere and gold is not. Now apply this to your life. If you make yourself too available, too easy to reach, too willing to give, people will start seeing you as common. They won't cherish your presence because they assume you will always be there. They won't appreciate your kindness because they know they can get it anytime. This is why some of the most disrespected people are the ones with the biggest hearts. Not because they are not worthy, but because they have given too much access to those who have not earned it. Look at relationships. Have you ever seen someone chase after a person who ignores them, yet disregard the one who is always present for them? Why does this happen? Because human nature is wired to pursue what is hard to get. If you're always calling, always texting, always checking in, while the other person does nothing, they begin to take your presence for granted. Not because you are not valuable, but because you are too accessible. Even in leadership, this principle is true. If a leader is always available, answering every call, attending to every request, people stop respecting their time. But the leader who is selective about their availability commands respect. Why? Because limited access creates higher value. Now, I am not saying you should ignore people or withhold kindness. No. I am saying that if you do not manage how people access you, they will abuse that access. Even God does not allow himself to be treated casually. He says, "Seek me and you will find me." That means there is effort required. There is a pursuit. And because of that pursuit, there is appreciation. Let me give you an example. If you walk into a store and see a diamond ring placed outside in the open next to plastic jewelry, you will start to wonder if it is real. Why? Because valuable things are not placed where anyone can reach them. If it is truly valuable, it is kept in a glass case under lock and key. That positioning alone increases its worth. The same applies to you. If you make yourself too easy to reach, people will question your value. Some of you are exhausted, drained, and frustrated, not because you are not good people, but because you have given the wrong people unlimited access to your time, energy, and kindness. And instead of appreciating it, they have started to treat it as a right rather than a privilege. So, what is the solution? You must start managing access. Not everyone should have direct access to you. Not everyone should be able to demand your time. Not everyone should be allowed to enter your space freely. Because the truth is, people do not value what they do not have to work for. If you want people to respect your presence, sometimes you have to let them feel your absence. If you want people to appreciate your kindness, sometimes you have to withhold it until they learn to cherish it. This is not pride, this is wisdom. And wisdom teaches us that your value is determined not just by what you offer, but by how you position yourself. So today I challenge you. Stop making yourself too accessible to people who do not honor you. Be kind, but be wise. Give, but do not let people take. Love, but do not let love make you blind to disrespect. Because in the end, your value is not just in what you give, but in how you allow others to receive it. One of the biggest mistakes people make in life is thinking that saying yes to everything will make them more respected, more loved, and more accepted. But the reality is the exact opposite. Saying yes to everything makes you look weak, not kind. Many people struggle with this because they don't want to disappoint others. They don't want to seem difficult or selfish. They want to be known as the person who is always willing to help, always ready to sacrifice, always available. But what happens when you say yes too often? People stop valuing your time. They stop appreciating your efforts. They start assuming that your kindness has no limits, and worse, that you have no standards. Think about this. If you can never say no, then what you are really saying is that your time is not valuable, your energy is not precious, and your priorities don't matter. And when people see that you don't respect your own time, have you ever noticed that the people who always say yes are often the most overworked, the most exhausted, and the most disrespected? That's because when you say yes to everything, people don't see it as generosity, they see it as weakness. They begin to assume that you don't have the strength to stand up for yourself. And the sad reality is that when people see weakness, they exploit it. In relationships, this is true. If you always say yes to people who mistreat you, they will keep mistreating you. If you always say yes to people who never reciprocate your kindness, they will keep taking from you without ever giving back. Why? Because you have shown them that you have no boundaries. And when there are no boundaries, there is no respect. Look at the most respected people in the world. They are not the ones who always say yes. They are the ones who know when to say yes and when to say no. They understand that their time is valuable, their energy is limited, and their purpose is too important to be wasted on things that do not align with their destiny. Even God does not say yes to everything. He loves unconditionally, but he does not reward disobedience. He is merciful, but he also requires responsibility. He gives, but he expects stewardship. If God himself has conditions, why do we think we should say yes to everything without question? Saying no does not mean you are selfish. It means you understand your worth. It means you recognize that not every request deserves your time, not every demand deserves your attention, and not every opportunity aligns with your purpose. The ability to say no is one of the greatest strengths you can develop because it sets a standard for how others will treat you. Imagine a restaurant that never closes. It serves customers 24 hours a day, never taking a break. At first, it may seem impressive, but over time, the quality of the food drops, the staff gets exhausted, and the customers start taking it for granted because they know it will always be open. But a restaurant that has specific opening hours creates demand. It sets a standard, and because of that, people respect its time and value its service. The same principle applies to your life. If you are always available, people will take you for granted. But when you learn to say no to the wrong things, you create space to say yes to the right things, things that align with your vision, things that bring you peace, things that respect your time and energy. Some of you have been drained because you have been saying yes when you should have been saying no. You have been trying to please everyone at the cost of your own well-being. But today I want to tell you, it is okay to say no. It is okay to set boundaries. It is okay to protect your time, your energy, and your peace. Because at the end of the day, true kindness is not in saying yes to everything. It is in knowing when to say no. Many people believe that true kindness means giving without limits, always being available, and never setting conditions. But this is not how life works. Even God, in all his love and mercy, sets boundaries. He gives freely, but he also expects stewardship. He forgives, but he requires repentance. He blesses, but he demands obedience. If God, the creator of the universe, does not allow himself to be taken for granted, why should you? One of the biggest reasons people are disrespected is because they do not manage access to themselves. They believe that if they keep giving, people will appreciate them more. If they keep forgiving, people will change. If they keep sacrificing, people will love them in return. But in reality, when you give without accountability, people don't see it as generosity. They see it as an opportunity to take advantage of you. Look at the story of the prodigal son. The father was kind, loving, and generous, but he also allowed the son to face the consequences of his choices. He did not run after him, begging him to stay. He did not force him to appreciate the blessings he had. Instead, he let him go. And it was only after the son experienced hardship that he realized the value of what he had. This teaches us something powerful. People do not appreciate what they do not have to be responsible for. If you keep giving to someone who does not appreciate it, you are not helping them. You are enabling their entitlement. If you keep forgiving someone who never changes, you are not showing mercy. You are teaching them that there are no consequences. If you keep saying yes to people who only take from you, you are not being kind. You are allowing yourself to be used. Even in nature, God sets limits. The ocean has a shoreline. The sun rises and sets at specific times. Seasons change in their proper order. Everything operates within boundaries. Imagine if the ocean had no limits. It would flood and destroy everything in its path. Imagine if the sun never set. There would be no rest, only exhaustion. When there are no boundaries, there is disorder. And when there is disorder, there is no respect. This is why you must learn to give with wisdom. Love people, but do not let them abuse your love. Help people, but do not let them become dependent on you. Forgive people, but do not allow them to continue hurting you. Because true kindness is not about letting people do whatever they want. It is about holding them accountable for how they treat you. Some of you have been exhausted not because you are doing too much, but because you are doing too much for people who do not appreciate it. You keep pouring into others, but no one pours into you. You keep showing up for people who never show up for you. And instead of gratitude, you receive entitlement. But let me tell you something. This is not their fault. It is yours. Because whatever you allow will continue. People will treat you the way you allow them to treat you. If you do not set boundaries, they will assume you have none. If you do not demand respect, they will assume you do not deserve it. If you do not value yourself, they will not value you either. So what is the solution? Follow God's example. He is kind, but he is not weak. He is patient, but he is not passive. He is loving, but he is also just. He gives, but he also expects responsibility. And because of this, he is respected. If you want to be respected, you must learn to do the same. Give, but with discernment. Forgive, but with wisdom. Love, but with accountability. Because true kindness is not about saying yes to everything. It is about knowing when to say yes and when to say no. One of the most dangerous misunderstandings in life is the idea that love should have no limits, that kindness should be unconditional, and that mercy means tolerating anything. But that is not true. Love should be given with wisdom, not foolishness. Many people believe that being loving means always saying yes, always sacrificing, always tolerating, no matter how they are treated. But love is not blind. Love is not weakness. Love is not allowing yourself to be mistreated in the name of patience. Real love requires wisdom. Think about this. If love had no wisdom, it would not be love at all. A parent who gives their child everything they ask for without teaching them responsibility is not showing love. They are setting that child up for failure. A friend who allows you to continue making destructive decisions without correction is not showing love. They are allowing you to destroy yourself. Even God, who is love itself, disciplines those he loves. He corrects, he guides, he sets standards. His love is unconditional, but his rewards are not. That is because love is not just about giving, it is about leading, teaching, and protecting. Now, apply this to your life. Some of you have been hurt, not because you love too much, but because you love without wisdom. You keep giving to people who never give back. You keep sacrificing for people who do not value your sacrifice. You keep forgiving people who do not change. And instead of love being a blessing in your life, it has become a burden. But this is not love's fault. It is the misuse of love. Because real love does not just give, it discerns. It understands when to say yes and when to say no. It knows when to hold on and when to let go. It does not tolerate abuse. It does not enable bad behavior. And it does not sacrifice itself for those who refuse to change. Look at the relationships in your life. Who are you constantly giving to, but they never pour back into you? Who do you keep forgiving, but they never take responsibility for their actions? Who do you keep helping, but they never show appreciation? If love is one-sided, it is no longer love, it is a burden. Even Jesus, in all his love, did not force himself on people who rejected him. When the rich young ruler refused to follow him, he did not chase after him. He let him go. When the people in his hometown dishonored him, he did not stay. He left. Because love, even in its purest form, is not foolish. Love without wisdom is not love. It is self-destruction. Many of you are exhausted, not because you do not love enough, but because you love in the wrong places. You are pouring into people who do not value you. You are showing patience to those who do not respect it. You are giving second chances to those who do not respect it. You are giving second chances to those who do not respect it. You are giving second chances to those who do not respect it. You are giving second chances to those who do not respect it. But love, real love, is not about being used. It is about lifting, protecting, and growing. So what must you do? You must love with wisdom. You must discern who deserves your time, your energy, and your heart. You must understand that some people are not rejecting your love. They are rejecting responsibility. And when that happens, it is not your job to fix them. It is your job to protect yourself. It is because in the end, true love is not about giving without limits. It's about knowing where to place your love so that it is honored, respected, and valued. Many people go through life frustrated because they feel they are not getting the respect they deserve. They demand it, they ask for it, they even beg for it, but still they are overlooked, dismissed, and taken for granted. Why? Because respect is not demanded by words, it is commanded by how you carry yourself. You see, in life, people do not treat you based on what you say. You are treated based on what you show. You can tell people to respect you all day long, but if your actions communicate weakness, insecurity, or desperation, they will treat you accordingly. Respect is not about shouting for attention. It is about having a presence that speaks for itself. Think about a lion. A lion does not need to announce that it is the king of the jungle. It does not roar for approval. It does not beg other animals to respect it. It walks with authority, it moves with confidence, and because of that, everything around it recognizes its position. That is how respect works. It is not given because you asked for it. It is given because you earned it through how you carry yourself. Now, let's bring this to your life. Some of you are struggling with being taken seriously because you have not set the standard for how you should be treated. You tolerate too much disrespect. You laugh off things that should not be joked about. You allow people to cross boundaries that should never be crossed. And then when you finally speak up, they do not take you seriously because you have already shown them that they do not have to. Even in relationships, this is true. If someone continuously disrespects you and you keep forgiving without requiring change, they will not stop. Not because they do not understand respect, but because you have taught them that their behavior has no consequences. People treat you based on what you allow. Look at the most respected people in the world. They are not the loudest, they are not the most demanding, and they are not constantly reminding others to respect them. Instead, they carry themselves in a way that makes disrespect impossible. They know who they are, they know their value, and they move through life with an unshakable sense of self-worth. Even God operates by this principle. He does not beg for respect. He commands it through his power, his order, and his presence. He is loving, but he is not weak. He is patient, but he is not passive. He sets a standard, and those who truly honor him align with it. If God, in all his greatness, does not lower his standards for the sake of acceptance, why should you? You must understand that people respond to what you present. If you carry yourself with dignity, people will see you as dignified. If you walk with confidence, people will believe you are worth following. If you set boundaries and enforce them, people will learn to respect them. But if you tolerate mistreatment, people will assume it is acceptable. This is why it is so important to stop chasing respect with words and start commanding it with presence. Stop explaining why you deserve to be treated better and start showing why. Stop trying to convince people of your worth and start living in a way that makes them recognize it without you saying a word. So today, I challenge you, stop begging for respect. Stop allowing people to treat you beneath your value. Carry yourself in a way that makes disrespect impossible. Because in the end, true respect is not given because you ask for it. It is given because you have positioned yourself to receive it. There comes a time in life when you must accept a difficult truth. Not everyone will appreciate your kindness, and not everyone will value your presence. No matter how much you give, no matter how much you sacrifice, no matter how much love you pour into others, some people will never recognize it. And if you are not careful, you will spend your life trying to prove your worth to people who have already decided to overlook it. One of the biggest mistakes people make is assuming that their kindness will automatically be met with gratitude. But the reality is, many times, the more you give, the less people appreciate it. Why? Because human nature often takes for granted what is always available. The more accessible you are, the less valuable you seem. The more patient you are, the more people assume they can test your limits. The more forgiving you are, the more some will take advantage of your grace. This is why you must understand when to walk away. Some of you are exhausted, not because you are weak, but because you are pouring into the wrong places. You keep trying to prove your love to people who never reciprocate it. You keep trying to earn respect from those who refuse to give it. You keep making sacrifices for those who do not see your worth. But hear me today. You do not have to prove your value to people who refuse to see it. Look at Jesus. When he went to his hometown, the Bible says the people did not honor him. They questioned his authority. They doubted his wisdom. And do you know what he did? He left. He did not beg for their respect. He did not argue with them. He did not stay and try to prove himself. He simply walked away. Because when people have already decided to dishonor you, there is nothing you can do to change their minds. Many of you have stayed in places where you are no longer respected, trying to convince people to treat you better. But listen, you cannot force someone to value what they refuse to see. And the longer you stay in an environment where you are not honored, the more you will start to believe that you are not worthy of honor. This applies to every area of life, in friendships, in relationships, in the workplace. When people consistently show you that they do not value you, believe them. Stop explaining yourself. Stop overextending yourself. Stop trying to make people see your worth when they have already decided to be blind to it. Because the truth is, your value does not decrease just because someone refuses to acknowledge it. Think about a diamond. If a person does not understand the value of a diamond, they might treat it like a simple stone. But does that change what it is? Does that lower its worth? No. The diamond remains valuable whether someone recognizes it or not. And that is how you must see yourself. If people do not appreciate your kindness, that does not mean you should stop being kind. It simply means you must be more selective about where you invest your kindness. Some of you have wasted years trying to make people love you the way you deserve. You have explained yourself, compromised yourself, and even lowered your standards, hoping that one day They would see your worth. But today, I want you to understand, your worth is not up for debate. You are not meant to convince people to treat you well. The right people will recognize your value without you having to beg for it. So here is my challenge to you. Stop trying to prove yourself. Stop fighting for a seat at tables where you are not welcome. Stop forcing relationships that drain you more than they fill you. Walk away from environments that make you feel invisible. Because when you remove yourself from places where you are not valued, you make room for the people who will see you, honor you, and appreciate you for who you truly are. Life will always